Hello coin collectors out there, welcome back to the Big D Coins channel. Recently on the channel I did a video about my favorite circulating commemorative series, which was the 2009 Lincoln series, in which they made 4 very cool, unique coins that all had a different reverse to them. This one right here is the birthplace cent. The following ones were the formative years, the professional life, and then the presidency series. And in that video, I declared that these ones right here were my favorite circulating commemorative series ever made. Now, I maintain that to be true, but my second favorite is probably this series that you see in the back right here. This is what's known as the Westward Journey series, and the 2009 the 2009 Abraham Lincoln pennies commemorated the 200th anniversary of him being born, and these ones right here commemorated another 200th anniversary. These ones commemorated the 200th anniversary of the Louisiana Purchase. So we had 4 coins that were part of that series, and then like the 2010 penny, we had one where they changed it and it was the same going forward. So included in that series is what we'll talk about today. We had this coin up top, the piece metal, then we had the Keelboat, then we had the American Bison, and then we had the Ocean in View. Now, these all didn't come out in the same year like the pennies did. These two right here came out in 2004, these two came out in 2005, and then in 2006, although this is dated 2007, but starting in 2006, we had the return to Monticello. So what they did is they changed up the obverse of the coin. They changed up the portrait of Thomas Jefferson to be this one on the obverse, and then they retouched some of the finer details on Monticello on the reverse. So the reverse of Monticello was kind of tuned up a little bit starting in 2006 and going forward. So if you've got one that looks like this, with a obverse of like this, that is what the style is going to look like starting in 2006, and they've been using the same style ever since. Now let's look at these one at a time, and we'll start with kind of a brief overview on the entire series. I showed you the different coins that were part of it, but let's get some information directly from the United States Mint website. In commemoration of the bicentennial of the Louisiana Purchase and the Lewis and Clark Expedition, the President enacted the Public Law 108-15 to modify the Jefferson cent coin, also known as the nickel, to reflect images evocative of the historic expedition of the Louisiana Territory. And so that is what we've got here. Now, let's first talk about this design right here, and then we'll get into the mintages of the entire series. So what we're looking at right here on the reverse, now all of these are going to have the special image on the reverse of the coin. So we see the first 2 reverses of 2004, dated Jefferson nickel series, featured a rendition of the reverse of the original piece metal, of the original Indian piece metal, commissioned for the Lewis and Clark expedition. So what we see right here is the piece metal. So this metal up here, that was part of the original design, and what they did there was they made this piece metal for Lewis and Clark to give out to the different Native American tribes as kind of like a peace offering when they visited them. And so that's what we see with this metal right here. We see 1803 up at the top, and we see a kind of a United States person's hand shaking a Native American hand on the reverse of the coin. As far as the mintages of these coins goes, unfortunately, none of them are going to be very high. There are between 300 and 400 million made at each mint per design. So there are 361 million of these made at Philadelphia, another 372 million made at the Denver. Because of that, none of these are going to be super rare or too valuable unless you get one of the error coins, which we'll talk about once we get to the American Bison coin. It seems like the United States always has errors whenever they put the bison on the coin, and that's the case with the 2005 American Bison coin. So that's not going to be this one, but going to be the one after. What we see on this reverse right here, this is what's known as the Keelboat reverse, which features an angled side view of the keelboat with the full sail that transported members of the expedition and their supplies through the rivers of the Louisiana Territory in search of the Northwest Passage to the Pacific Ocean. Built to the specifications of Captain Lewis, the 55-foot keelboat could be sailed, rowed, or pulled like a raft, as well as towed from the riverbank. So this keelboat that they were using for the expedition was very, very versatile. It was a 55-foot long boat, and as I said, it could be sailed using the sail right there. It could be rowed. We see some people rowing it. It could be pulled like a raft in case it was going through some rapids, as well as towed from the riverbank. So that's the boat that they were using to navigate the rivers through the Louisiana Purchase all the way to the Pacific Ocean, which is what they were in their search for, the Northwest Passage. Now onto this coin right here. This gets a little exciting. This is what's known as the American Bison. So the American Bison was kind of a throwback to one of the earlier Native American coins that you might remember seeing, this one right here. Now, interestingly, the American Bison coin has some known errors, so let me head over to the PCGS Coin Facts website, and we're going to look at the 2005-D 5-cent speared bison regular strike coin. So here's what PCGS has to say about that. This coin contains a die gouge, where referred to as the speared bison nickel. With a couple of days from when the coins were discovered, they were immediately selling for well over $100 in raw condition. So what it looks like for the speared bison is a die gouge that runs from right around here, right down the kind of middle of the bison. That creates the speared image that you would expect to see. So recently, after those were discovered, they started selling for a lot of money. Now, PCGS has graded a lot of these. In fact, they've graded 363 out of Mint State 64. At a Mint State 64, PCGS gives them a price guide of $225. However, it appears like the price of them is dropping quite drastically. Most recently, a Mint State 64 sold at auction for $184. That was in November of 2016. Now, that's one of the more recent auction prices for the 2005 speared bison era coin. Now, it's unfortunate every time we see a bison on here, it seems like there's an error. One of the more notable errors with the older style ones, like this one right here, is the 3-legged or the 3.5-legged era coin, in which the front leg of the bison was worn off because of over polishing on the die. So the final one in the series, so far we've talked about the piece metal, the Keelboat, and the American Bison, but the final one in the series is this one right here, the Ocean in View, Oh Joy. So we'll get a nice look at this one right here. So the Ocean in View, Oh Joy, what we're looking at on the reverse, it features a scene of the Pacific Ocean and an inscription reflecting an exciting entry in the journal of Captain William Clark on November 7th, 1805. He recorded in his journal, Ocean in View, Oh Joy. So that's what we see right here. And this is an approximate image of what they anticipated it looked like once they arrived at the Pacific Ocean. They arrived at the Pacific Ocean in approximately Astoria, Oregon. That's where they found the Western Waters, and that was their whole mission, was to find the Pacific Ocean passageway so that they could get from St. Louis up to the Louisiana Territory and over into the Pacific Ocean. So they finally found the ocean in view, oh joy. They were very excited about it, and that's the image that they captured right there. And I guess kind of to add on to the series, it's this one right here. This is known as the Return to Monticello. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this one's dated 2007, but in 2006, after they made the Ocean in View, oh joy, they officially implemented this design, which has a different obverse. It features Thomas Jefferson looking at a different direction. So this is what we were used to seeing prior to 2006. Then they switched it over to this one right here. They also touched up Monticello a little bit on the reverse. I don't have an older example of that with me, but if you looked at yours, a fine detailed, you might notice that there are some differences to the windows or some of the details that you'd see on the reverse. All right, everyone, let's quickly run through the different ones that we looked at in today's video. So the last one in the series was the Return to Monticello, which they switched up the obverse and reverse, was more detailed. Previous to that, we had the Ocean in View, oh joy. The mintages on this coin right here were 394 million out of the Philadelphia, and then out of the Denver, we had 411 million. So all of these are going to have pretty high mintages. And then before that, we had the American Bison also appearing in 2005. mintages in the 400 millions as well for this one right here. And then prior to that, we had the Keelboat. This one was dated 2004. And then prior to that, we had the Peace Medal, and this one is dated 2004 as well. So we had 2004, and then we had 2005. Zoom out just a little bit more for you. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. It wasn't too detailed. Some of my videos are a lot more technical than this one, but this was kind of a basic introductory one to familiarize yourself with the Westward Journey series of the Jefferson Nickels. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Enjoy, and best of luck coin collecting out there.